Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Gardener. In today's video, we are going to be talking about our Succulents Toxic. Now the good news is most of the succulents are not toxic. In fact, there are certain varieties of succulents or cacti that are frequently used as ingredients in cooking of delicious dishes. For example, the prickly pear or the aloe vera. In fact, aloe vera is used in a lot of cosmetic industries. It's also used in a lot of medicines. The most popular being the aloe vera gel, often used as a moisturizer, especially during the winters. Now, there are certain varieties of succulents, mainly cacti, that tend to have a really sharp spines. Those spines are definitely not toxic or not poisonous, but they can definitely puncture your skin, so you have to be extremely careful with that. Now, being said that, even though most of the succulents are not toxic for humans or pets, but there are some varieties you should avoid, especially if you have small kids or pets around your house. Now, there are certain succulents that are slightly toxic to humans, and that's what we are going to be talking about. Let's start with the first one, which is the euphorbias. Now, the issues with euphorbia is the plant itself is not toxic. Definitely, it has some spines on it, but if you are going to be away from the plant, it is not going to cause any damage. But the main issue with euphorbia is the sap or the plant milk. Now, if you are a person who has very delicate skin or has some type of allergies, then you have to be extremely careful, because the moment you cut, especially we want to do a lot of propagation, so whenever you are cutting any plant like euphorbias, they tend to have a lot of sap, a lot of plant milk that will start to ooze out the moment you cut them. So this plant milk, if it comes in contact with your skin, it can irritate you a lot. In fact, if it tends to go into your eye, it can be really dangerous, so you have to be extremely careful. Always use gloves when you are dealing with cacti. Now, I'm not talking about those rubber gloves. You have those other protective gloves that you have to use, because those spines can pierce through those rubber gloves, so that is not going to be working out. So you have to use a different type of gloves in order to protect your hand. And apart from that, you have to ensure that the sap does not come, or the plant milk does not come in contact with your skin. Especially if you have a very sensitive skin, then you would want to avoid that sap coming in contact with your skin. Now, apart from this, or apart from you getting pierced with those spines, there is not much that can harm you unless you are eating the succulents. Now, whether a succulent is toxic or non-toxic, I don't think it's a very good idea to eat succulents, because there are plenty of other things on this planet Earth to be eaten. Now, why I'm referring to this is because if you are going to Google a man eating echeveria, you will find a video wherein this person is eating the echeveria succulent, and I don't know for what reason, probably to get some attention of some views, because I don't think any sane person would ever want to do something like that. As I said, there are plenty of things on this planet Earth to be eaten. But the rest of us who are not a very big fan of eating succulents, other than this, there is not going to be much of an issue apart from the sap coming in contact with your skin or getting pierced by those cactus spine. Apart from this, there is not much danger for people like us. But there would be issues for our pets. Now, yes, a lot of succulents can be toxic to pets. In fact, aloe vera itself, now aloe vera is definitely a very good product for us. We tend to use it on our skin. There are also certain type of aloe vera gel that can be ingested, which is very good for health, which is like a medicinal effect for the body. But unfortunately for pets, aloe vera is not a very good option, especially for dogs. If a dog happens to come in contact or happens to ingest the aloe gel, it can lead to nausea, vomiting, severe diarrhea, and also a drop in the blood sugar. So you have to be extremely careful that if you have a lot of fur babies around, ensure that you keep the aloe vera plant away from your pet. Another plant that is toxic to your pets is Crassula ovata, aka the jade, which is a very common succulent that every person has, probably every other succulent collector will have at least one jade plant in their collection. So even the leaves of the Crassula ovata, if ingested by your pet, can lead to stomach issues. So if you feel, or if you think that your dog might have eaten or your pet might have eaten any of the succulent, it's better to check with the vet as soon as possible. Again, coming to euphorbias are again toxic to your pets, especially dogs or cats, that can again cause stomach pain if ingested. Again, another very common variety is the Kalanchois. Now, I'm very surprised that a lot of these varieties are around our garden or in the house, and these are very toxic for our pets. So we have to be extremely careful. If you have a very curious pet, or if you have a child who's very curious and is very small, ensure that you are keeping these plants out of their reach, because you never know. They're very curious and they might just go ahead and pluck and ingest any of the leaves, so it can lead to problems. So Kalanchois are another plant that can be very toxic to pets, so ensure that you're keeping this plant as well away from their reach. So these were the few succulents that are very common, and we almost every one of us have these succulents. Now the non-toxic succulents, luckily I'm happy that Echeveria is a non-toxic succulent. But again guys, as it is a non-toxic succulent does not mean that you are going to eat that succulent or you are going to feed your pet. Please don't do that. Even though they are non-toxic, we want to grow succulents. We do not want to feed that to our pets. So Echeveria's varieties are non-toxic. Your Graptopetalums, the Paragonis, which is again a very common variety. So the Graptopetalums are also non-toxic. Haworthias, the Sedums and Sempervivums are non-toxic. So it's a good thing that a lot of the common varieties like Echeverias, we all have at least one Echeveria. So that is a non-toxic succulent. So that was all about it. Yes, there are toxic and non-toxic succulents, but to be on the safer side, maybe there are certain more varieties which could be toxic. We never know. So it's always a good practice to keep a succulent away from small children and pets. Anytime if you feel that you have a doubt, just keep the plant away. You definitely do not want our curious babies to go near them and ingest any of them. So guys, that's all about it. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep propagating.